In this video, we're taking a look at Go Collect's hottest comics for the week of 1-2. Looks like covers are driving the market. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swaggelhaus. And in this video, I'm going to talk about Go Collect's hottest comics for the week of 1-2. For those who don't know, Go Collect puts out a weekly article that analyzes the top selling comics based on eBay, CGC, sales. And it's always fun to take a look at this stuff with you guys and sort of analyze what people are speccing on and see what, is trending upward. But before I can get into the article, if you guys could drop me a like or a comment or subscribe, if you're enjoying my content, help support the channel, love interacting with you guys, and let's keep this conversation going. All right, with that being said, let's take a look at this Go Collect article and see what's moving. And there's a lot of surprises on here. So I'm going to pull up this article here and we'll go through it and I'll give it some analysis and let's see if we can figure out what's going on. All right, so the article here is written by Matt Tuck, always a great contributor to Go Collect. And this one is called Hottest Comics 1-2, Naomi and Infinity Gauntlet in the Spotlight. And I'm just going to go through the books and we can take a look and see what we find interesting here. And the first one is going to be Naomi #1. This is a variant cover, up 990 spots. And you can see right here, this is Naomi, and this is a DC comic book, and this is a variant cover that people are speccing on. Now, I'm somebody who doesn't know too much about the character of Naomi, but from what I can gather, she's similar to sort of like a Young Avengers character that was recently created, came up in DC recently in the years, sort of appealing to a younger audience. And I think one of the reasons that this book has been heating up so much is that it's been recently announced in Deadline just a couple weeks back that Ava DuVernay, a famous filmmaker, is going to be developing a live action show for Naomi, and it's going to be taking place on the CW. And, that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, if she's a younger character who's sort of appealing to more of a teenage audience, CW is a perfect network for her to have a show on. And as you can see from her comic right here, she's a high school girl, seems like a perfect character to take place in the CW. And I'm someone who thinks this stuff is pretty interesting because again, I don't really know how much the CW shows have been moving the market. I mean, it's a little bit of a mystery what's going on with the DC universe. But as far as this character is concerned, the market is still chasing her, and I think that makes sense. With the news being announced that she's going to be having a show, seems like a couple weeks later, that the market for her book has been trending upward, and I guess people love that cover as opposed to the original. All right, let's move on to the next book here, and the next book is going to be Silver Surfer #44. Up 983 spots. And for those who don't know, this is actually, the 1990s Silver Surfer run, number 94. And this happens to be the first appearance of the Infinity Gauntlet. And I think that this is really interesting because last week I had a video on my channel that talked about, storyline spec comic books and their value and what the legs are for, their economic growth in their lifespan. And I basically came to the conclusion or shared my thoughts with you guys that said, I don't think that they have much value. And as far as this comic is concerned, this is the first appearance of the actual Infinity Gauntlet. Not quite the same as a storyline spec book, but, similar. We can talk about it. And what I think is interesting is that, Matt brings up in the article, he talks about Infinity Gauntlet #1, which has recently had a little bit of an uptick. And, I think this is really interesting because in fairness, this is going against what I thought, storyline spec books have as far as, their legs for growth. But, with that being said, if I take a look at what's going on, it sort of makes sense. And I want to show you guys something here as to why this book is maybe growing. So if I pull up the modeler here and I take a look, if I look at what this book was selling for, back when we had Infinity War and Endgame and the hype surrounding it with the Infinity Gauntlet, you can see here 9.8, 220, 95, 95, 95. And then I flash forward to, past 30 days when this book has gotten hot, that it's even in this Go Collect article, we see 180, 80, 80, 80. So this is definitely a book that has slowed down so much to the point that I think now the reason that it's getting hot again is that people are just seeing it as a book that, hey, this is like a good deal. I could just pick up this book. I think that that as far as the height of the value of this book, we already hit it, you know, a couple years back with the hype surrounding Infinity War and Endgame. And I think now that the numbers have shrank so much, you know, the market is starting to pick back up. And this is sort of like the real fixed number now. This is presumably where these books are going to live in terms of their economic value, you know, for you know, the foreseeable future. You know, maybe it took a little bit, you know, the pendulum swung a little too hard, it dipped a little too low, and now the market is correcting again. So the comic book got hot, but you know, I don't think it's ever really going to eclipse what it once was. All right, so let's take a look at now some of the next books that are the hottest in the market, and that's going to be Absolute Carnage #1 variant edition, up 976 spots. This is the Art Gem variant done by Stanley Lau. And as you can see here, very, very cool cover. Carnage, great character. #1 issue of Absolute Carnage, a big Donny Cates storyline last year. And I think that there's a multitude of reasons that this book is heating up in the market. I mean, I think you have, you know, it's a Donny Cates famous storyline. It's Donny Cates is doing King in Black right now. There's a lot of excitement about symbiote stuff. This is a great variant cover, really, really awesome Carnage thing. And Carnage is a great character. And on top of that, we know that Venom #2 is coming out later this year. And, you know, spoiler alert, in Venom #1, in the post-credit scene, we saw a cameo appearance of Woody Harrelson playing Cletus Cassidy, who we all know becomes Carnage. So I think that the market is sort of looking at this book and seeing something that, you know, is a cool, great cover to own, cool book, you know, great storyline, Absolute Carnage. Maybe people think we're going to get an Absolute Carnage storyline in Venom 2. I don't know about that, but you know, we know that, it's safe to presume that we're going to see Carnage in Venom #2. So you know that's why the market is moving to it. All right, let's move on to the next one here, and the next one is actually going to be Amazing Spider-Man 46. And this is a variant cover by Peach Momoko, and it is up 973 spots. Now, for those who don't know, you know, there's, as far as like a storyline of what happens in Amazing Spider-Man 46, this is the current Nick Spencer run. But as far as what happens in this book, nothing particular. But I think, what's special about this one is that this is a cover by Peach Momoko. And for those who don't know, Peach Momoko, super hot artist in the industry right now. People are chasing her books all over the place. People love her covers. And this is a great one. This is a classic Spider-Man costume, you know, like the vintage look with the alternating blue and reds. So I think people really like this. And if you look at the numbers here, I mean, you can see, you know, a lot of sales in December 20, $44. I mean, anytime you can get a 9.8 for, you know, under $50, it almost doesn't matter what book it is. I mean, I think that that's a pretty good value, because just the cost to send it to CGC alone is gonna run you, you know, $30. So it feels like you know, if you can get a book in that and you like this is sort of like a great, you know, collector thing to have. And people are specking really hard on, you know, the Peach Momoko art, you know, kind of like how people really chase the Art Ross or the Alex Ross, you know, covers, or people really chase the Todd McFarlane ones. Peach Momoko is making her, you know, way in the industry. And this is just a very cool book to own. So I think that's why people are chasing it. People love covers. All right, and the last one, which I think is the most interesting of the batch to talk about, is going to be Amazing Spider-Man #51, up 970 slots. And this is the second appearance of the Kingpin. But what's special about this one is that this is actually the first Kingpin cover appearance. So this is really cool to me, because, you know, if you for those who know, everyone has sort of always known that Amazing Spider-Man #50, first appearance of Kingpin, was a great sort of Silver Age book to own, great grail. A lot of people want this. A lot of people have this on their wish list. But I was always someone who was interested in this #51, because this is the first time we see Kingpin on the cover, and I think that that's really cool. And for those who don't know, I made another video on my channel that talked about cover appeal and how that affects the value of books. And you know, suffice to say, covers matter a lot, or at least that's my conclusion. And now I'm not someone who thinks that, you know, this #51 is ever going to eclipse #50. I think that #50 is Kingpin's obvious, clear first appearance, and that's always going to be sort of the money book with in terms of, you know, Kingpin fans. But as far as, you know, #51 is here, with him being on the cover, I mean, I think this is a great, you know, sort of second prize to get with Kingpin. And I think that the market is finally starting to, realize that. Maybe this book for a while had been sort of undervalued, but when you look at it, I mean, it's kind of like the Fantastic Four, number 48 and 49, where number 48 is the first appearance of Silver Surfer and first cameo of Galactus, but number 49 is the first cover of Silver Surfer and his second appearance and the first cover of Galactus. So people, really, really like that book. I mean, granted, it's never going to be what 48 is, but 49 is being super, super, super hot. And I think that this is a similar case with this one right here, where you have Kingpin, and he's on this cover, and people really want to own it. And as far as a collector item is concerned, I mean, this is a really great one to have. I mean, as far as presentability, if I'm a Kingpin fan and I want to put it on my wall, I mean, granted, number 50 is a great cover, but if I want to see, Kingpin himself, this is the book to go after. So anyways, that is all I have for this video. This is Go Collect's, sorry, excuse me, I'm fumbling around with the controls there. This is Go Collect's hottest comics for the week of 1-2. Let me know what you guys think. Have you guys been specking on any of these books? Do you have any of them? Have you guys been chasing the market? What do you guys think about the Kingpin number 51? Have you always wanted to chase it? I know that if I was a Kingpin fan and I wanted to get my hands on the book, I would definitely target 51 myself because of the value or the price that it is. I think it's a lot cheaper than number 50, and I love that cover. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Drop me a like or a comment or subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and I will see you in the next video.